What's the biggest plot twist you've seen in real life? 1991. I'm 19. Just signed the lease for my first solo apartment. Just got the first paycheck from my new job. I deposit the paycheck at an ATM. Another first. I'd always gone into the bank to do it. 2 weeks later, I get my bank statement in the mail and see with horror I have only $1.87 in my account. Way wrong. I should have at least $200. I'd been very careful with my spending. I'm freaked. I came within $2 of bouncing my first rent check. I'm literally reaching for the phone to call the bank when the phone rings. It's the police asking if my ATM card was stolen. I check my wallet and the card is missing. My job at a theater pub came with cash tips, so I didn't use the card often and tell them I was going to call them anyway because I was missing $200 from my account. Well, we've got your card and your $200, so come down to the police station. They tell me I can't figure out how they have my card in the cash. Doesn't make sense. I drive down there. Detective says someone, let's call him Bob, pulled in to use an ATM and saw a man acting suspiciously while he was using it, moving back and forth as if trying to dodge the camera. Bob says the man then left the ATM, got into a car, and drove away at high speeds as if fleeing. Bob then went to the ATM and put his card in, which popped out. Bob then withdrew $200 and then another ATM card popped out. My card. Bob's card had popped out because the crook had left my card in the ATM before speeding away. Bob realized he had withdrawn the money from my account and not his, so he brought my card in the cash to the police and reported the attempted theft. The detective gives me the description of the crook. According to Bob, it was a man 5 feet 7 inches, brown hair, round gold rimmed glasses. I say out loud so, about my height, my color hair, and glasses like mine. Before realizing Bob was describing me, I'd never deposited a check in an ATM before, so I was moving back and forth, following the instructions on the screen, filling out the envelope with my account number, punching the amount in, etc. I then forgot to take my card out and just left, because I'm a fucking idiot. I drove away at high speeds, because I was 19 and that's how I drove everywhere. Worried the detective might be annoyed, I didn't tell him I was the crook. I just thanked him and left with the money I stole from myself. Somewhere in a box in my closet I still have the police report where I'm both the victim and the perp. Told this before in another thread, but it's still hilarious to me. Guy I knew in high school English class was talking one winter day about how he was late to school because someone hit his mailbox. His folks made him fix it up before he went to school. He missed his ride and had to walk instead, but the school staff was cool about it and didn't punish him. A few minutes later, another girl comes into class and she's talking about how her morning sucked. She lost control going down a hill and hit someone's mailbox. She freaked out and drove off before anyone witnessed it and described a few details of the house. Mailbox guy puts 2 and 2 together and blurts out, "You hid my mailbox." He wasn't super mad about it and she turned beet red. It was hilarious at the time the way they both reacted. We are living in Florida at the time and my dad goes to the eye doctor because he is seeing double. In all other respects he's healthy. He explains his symptoms to the doctor. This was the early 2000s. The doctor picks up a medical book on eye problems. He finds the kind symptoms my dad is describing. The doctor shows him the book. In the book there is a whole medical page explaining what he is experiencing and a picture of a kid from the 1960s. My dad looks at the picture and says, "Doc, that's me." The doctor says, "Yes, those are the symptoms you are showing." My dad says, "No, really, that's me in the picture." It turns out my dad had this eye problem when he was a kid, and it was so rare that they took his picture in 1960s Ohio and he slapped him in a book of rare eye problems. He doesn't remember much about taking the picture, but he did manage to get a copy of it to take home. I once had a job interview. It was very early in my career, and I was trying to move 500 miles to a new place. I built prototypes and brought samples of my work. It was a 9-hour drive, but everyone seemed so enthusiastic that I figured it was a lock. I did not get the job. I found another job in the area and took it. 6 months later they called and asked me to interview for the job above the one I had applied for. I was given an offer on the spot and worked there almost a decade. In the first few months the people there told me the guy whose job I had, who would have been my boss if he hired me initially, had actually said the samples and work I did was beyond him, and he didn't want an employee who knew more than him. Well, I guess he doesn't have that problem, since they fired him and replaced him with me. The one guy I worked with was having a baby. He told me about his GF. Yeah, she's pretty big, but she's amazing. She's the one for me. I didn't know him very well, but as he talked about the pregnancy and so forth, and I gave him encouraging words and how his life was going to change so much, we bonded a bit. His baby was going to be born right before Christmas. He missed our work Christmas party because his baby was being born. We expect him to be gone for paternity leave, but he shows up a few days later. I feared the worst, that the baby had died. It turned out his girlfriend was lying about being pregnant to spend more time with him. I didn't think much of it at the time, but the fact that he brought up she was fat for no reason must have meant she was so fat you couldn't tell whether she was pregnant or not. She showed him someone else's ultrasounds. They talked about what they would name their baby, how they'd handle taking care of it, all that shit. I don't know what she thought was gonna happen when 9 months passed and no baby. I guess it's good she came clean though. A more diabolical person would have faked a miscarriage or something. But that was seriously messed up. Shortly after the dude left, so I don't really know how he handled it. My mother's friend was married to a man for many years. They struggled to have kids because he had fertility issues, and then later on she developed ovarian cancer and had a hysterectomy. Years later he cheats and leaves her, blaming it on them having no children because of the hysterectomy. He and the woman he leaves her for proceed to conceive twins via IVF. Once those twins are born, his mistress finds out he doesn't have as much money as she thought, so she leaves him and the twins. So I mean, at least he got those kids he wanted so badly. My buddy and his girlfriend took a train to London to see a band play. It was a long journey, almost an hour, with a few stops, and once they were one stop away from London they realized they didn't have the concert tickets. They got off the train, checked their bags, searched every pocket, checked their bags again, and decided to go back home to look there. They got back and found the tickets on the table in the hall of their house and headed back out again. When they were arriving at the station for a second time, they had to wait because there was a potential bomb threat. It turned out there was an unattended bag which was being checked over by the bomb squad. Whose bag? My buddy's girlfriend bag. She'd left it at the station after looking for the tickets. One of my high school friends has a very strange brother who likes to pretend he's a girl on online games to get free stuff from people or something like that. After I graduated, I moved to Boston for college. They live in Texas, and last winter I went back to visit my friend, and I was hanging out in her house when I saw her brother's laptop in the game room open with pictures of this girl on the desktop. He said they were random pictures he found of some girl who posted on Reddit. They were SFW pics, but her account was inactive for years now, so he was using those pics to prove to someone he was a girl in the game he was playing. It blew my mind, because that girl went to my school and was in my acting class. I had a really cool friend freshman year of high school. She had a boyfriend that was super shy and nice. They dated until junior year of high school and they were infamous at school as the perfect couple. The girl was friends with everyone, and the guy got along with everyone as well. Turns out she broke up with him because he was super abusive and would threaten with suicide constantly. I have a similar perfect high school couple story, but doesn't involve abuse. Told this story here a few times, but it's very relevant here. In middle school, a guy, John, and a girl, Chelsea, fake names, are in our friend group and start dating in 7th grade. John's a great looking dude, has a great personality, and is a star athlete, star quarterback, point guard and pitcher all through high school. Went all state in every single sport he played. Chelsea is drop dead gorgeous, down to earth, a good cheerleader, and is crazy book smart. Straight A's all through school, teacher's pet, never missed a day of class. They are absolutely perfect together, never seemed to have any serious issues, and everyone thought they were destined to get married. They were voted best/cutest couple our senior year for the yearbook. Our senior year is coming to a close, and John gets a full ride to a big D1 college for baseball. Chelsea gets a full ride to the same college for academics. Seems like they're destined to be together, and this was just the next step in their relationship. That was until one of the other cheerleaders walked in on Chelsea having sex with the head basketball coach. He was a good looking, fun dude in his early 30s, basically an older version of John. After school in a locker room 2 weeks before graduation, the news spread like wildfire. The coach resigned the next day, no idea what happened to him, but Chelsea fell off the face of the earth. No one could get in contact with her, not John, not her friends, literally no one. She soon deleted all social media. She wasn't at school for the next 2 weeks, and she didn't walk at graduation. People tried getting in contact with her that summer, but no one could get a response or track her down. She ghosted everyone, her boyfriend of 6 years, and all of us, her friends she had grown up with since we were kids. John was devastated, but he went on to college to play baseball, graduated, and seems to be living a great life now with a solid career and amazing girlfriend. It wasn't until a couple years after we graduated that someone was finally able to track Chelsea down. Her mom finally admitted to a friend that she had Chelsea shipped off to the other side of the country to live with some other family and go to a fallback college in their city to avoid all the backlash and fallout of what she had done. Someone was able to find Chelsea's new Facebook based off this information, and we come to find out that she got married at 20 and has a couple kids. Never completed college, even though she originally had a full academic ride. She seems happy, I guess, based on the Facebook photos, but she ignores and blocks any of us that try to contact her. Legit biggest plot twist I've ever seen, and this happened 9 years ago now. You have had an appointment with the soup doggo. It has made nice hot soup for you. Like and subscribe to show your appreciation of the soup.